Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Cox, and I'm the host of the New America Movement, and I appreciate you tuning in today. I have my co-host, Jordan. Jordan, chime in and say hello.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing this evening?
We're going to go local today, son.
Oh, we're going to go local real hard.
Before we go local, let me say I saw a poll this morning that said Trump is leading the Latino vote in America. You wouldn't have thought that 2 years ago or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be all about the Democratic Party, getting free stuff coming into this country. Well, here's Biden. He goes in and says, I want all the Latinos in America, Mexico, anywhere in South America, it doesn't matter. Guatemala, you have it, you pick it. Come across the border. You're welcome here. You have a home in America. And he said that just recently after being elected, and he just reversed these policies that Trump had, like the border. Mm-hmm. Biden building the wall, or Trump building the wall. Biden says, hey, we want to tear it down. We want to stop it. Let them come into our country. And they did that, obviously, because I guess they assume now that that's going to be a way that they will be able to stay in power. But it looks like that has flipped on them. I mean, I don't know what imaginable disaster they could have worse than this. But can you imagine looking at a poll when you built your entire career on bringing illegals in so you can get them to vote and vote Democratic Party? That way the Democrats will always stay in power. Mm-hmm. Well, the poll said that number has flipped. I think it was like 43 to 47, 43 voting for Biden and 47 voting for Trump. That is a disastrous margin for the Democratic Party in the Biden administration. I guess the true thing is sometimes when you really think about a problem, you come to a logical resolution in your head. And the resolve in this is even Latinos know that are here are saying this is not logical. You cannot continue to allow criminals and rapists and murderers and just anybody to cross our border. Somebody is crazy. Mm-hmm. And so they have no faith in the Biden administration. They're losing confidence in the Democratic Party, and they're swinging over to logic and reason. And isn't that the way it happens a lot of times when you really think about all the woke crap that's out there? You can't even figure out what a girl is, and yet you're wanting to lead this country. People just say, I've had enough of this. This is not even marginally correct or logical. It is just stupid. So I just want to say heads up to Trump. He's leading the Latinos. I hope and pray that they'll get out and vote, and we'll see Trump back in office in just under a year. So let's go local, Jordan. Talk to me some. What's on your mind today?
Did you check that city council meeting out? That thing was, I mean, my God. Okay, so first of all, to come in as the mayor, and you know what? Let's just play her. Let's just let her do the talking.
Well, let's give a little background on this thing, because here's what I want our listeners to remember.
You sure?
Now she carried like 60, maybe 63, 60, 65% of the vote. Mm-hmm. And people said, this is who we want as our mayor, mm-hmm. because she ran, supported by the Pickens County Republican mm-hmm. Party in a very big way, that they were going to bring all this change and difference.
They said because
transparency. And you know, I heard things like, from their party, that Butch was a Hitler, that he was the kind of tyrant that mm-hmm. wouldn't let people speak. Yes. And people told me, said they would have this cut you off at the mic. How dare Butch do that? Let the people speak, because we're all about free speech.
And we're all about transparency.
All about transparency. You know what I mean? And like, nobody should be restricted if they have something to say.
Lisa ran on the fact of how transparent she was going to be with finances and everything. Yeah. Well, it turns out there's a little bit of controversy going on. Let's take a look at this video.
Let me say this. Is this, I know we're going to get to a minute, but is this business as usual? How do people lie and say these things? Go ahead.
Play the video.
You know,
it'll speak for
itself. It does not, on your budget, I do financials for a doctor's office. I've done it for 35 years. And so I know you have to be specific on what you're writing these checks for. And it just says miscellaneous and a dollar amount. It needs to be clear, because you know, we've got some people getting $394.36. It says miscellaneous expense. You know, you wrote a check to Tammy. I apologize, I don't have her name right in front of me. Doesn't say what it's for. I looked at the breakdown. I have both. I have the sheet from the bank and then the breakdown. It doesn't say what it's for. There's a lot of expenses. We are paying somebody for groundkeeping. I thought that was a job with the city. So why are we paying for groundkeeping? These are thousands of dollars. You paid a lot to combined utilities. Is that a figure that's every month? I mean, it was, apologize. I don't have it right here. But
Everyone
I do
look
have,
at Denise and Lisa's
VGM
body language
Financial
and
Services
Donna's.
that you paid $10,988. Can't see with bifocals, sorry. And it does not say what VGM is. Have no idea why they got so much money. But, you know, combined utilities is getting a lot of money. And, I mean, are we lighting the whole city and utilities? Okay. And the last thing I wanted to ask is Mayor Bagwell had a car that was a big hot ticket item. And you guys all were very mad that he had a car. And I have now been told that the police chief is driving the car. And Mayor Bagwell, he went and did a lot with the fire department. He was still all involved in the fire department, so he was doing all that.
I'm sorry, 3 minutes is up. Please email your questions to us.
Okay, Mayor, may I ask a question? Just a question, I'll sit down, I promise. So when we bring instances up, they're never gonna be answered, we just talk and you guys write something down, but we never hear anything.
This is not an exchange form.
I didn't mean now.
Okay.
I meant, you have my phone number, you require my address and phone number when I sign in to write that I have questions that I'd like to see. But I wonder, does that mean that I'm just up here talking and nothing will ever be done? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Bruh. Is that not word for word what they crucified Butch over?
I would say it's even worse because it's so obvious.
Hold on. I mean, hold on. The first thing she says is, now guys, we're going to go 3 minutes. Now, this lovely person over here is going to give you 30 seconds, and then I got this stopwatch right here. Now, if you look at her and you look at Denise, they're just praying for this 3 minutes to end. They are praying for it because they ran on transparency. They ran on the fact that they would be transparent with finances. And now they got miscellaneous stuff that they're saying you spent $300 here, this money there. Where's this going? And Lisa comes back and says, well, you know, we're not going to answer that because this is not a place for that. This is where you ask the question and then we'll just email you. Well, true transparency, have a town hall. Have a town hall. And have these guys come up, ask their questions, and you answer them right back. That is true transparency. Where did this 300 go? Let me see. You talking about in the miscellaneous? Okay, that 300 went to, what was the name of it? Okay, how much was it? $342.28. Okay, cool. $342.28. Ma'am, that went to mulching the side of something. That went to doing this and that. Instead, they get told, 3 minutes is up. And she's like, well, I just got one more question. And instead of cutting the mic back on to ask that one last question, they just cut it off and left it off. Now, let me just say this. If Butch did that, they would have his nuts in a vice. Everybody knows it. They would. They did. When he did it, they crucified him.
I was told they referred to him as Hitler.
Ooh. Now, back to the original question. Is this any better than the last administration? Mm-mm.
Well,
It's just more radical.
Here's what I have to say about it. I can read body language like I can read the Bible.
Oh my God.
If anybody looked at that, you know a couple things that are obvious. They're wanting this lady to drop dead and have a heart attack.
Right
You can
there.
just see it.
Right there.
Kill her, God.
They
kill
were
her.
praying, God, please shut her
Take
mouth
her-
like
shut
you
her
did
up.
Daniel of the lions. Please shut her mouth.
They look at their language, how disconnected they are from what she's saying. Now, you're an elected official, and you ran on all that you're going to do for the people.
And your first thing is not, I understand what you're saying, ma'am.
Right.
I will email you. I will get to you. Your first thing is, ma'am, this is not a back and forth.
Right.
That's your first.
We don't want to deal with you. We don't want to have time to talk to you.
No.
That's what it's about. You know what? They're not concerned about the people, because I say this because this is just facts of politics. All politics lean forward. All politics are about power. They use the public to get the power. And when they get the power, they forget the public. Here is an example. When they were running, they were talking about, oh, we love these people. We want to help everybody. We're transparent. You come tell us your problems, we're going to listen. We want to hear what you've got to say. But now that they're in office, they're shunning these people. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody told me this. And like I say, I don't know if this is true or not, but someone was in the room and the mayor made a statement. This lady, another lady that was kind of biting at trying to get information, and they wouldn't give it to them. They were in the lobby, and that she had made a statement. Someone allegedly heard her say, I do not want to go out in the lobby because I don't want to deal with these people. Tell my husband to get my car and bring it around the side. I want to go out the back door. Now, I don't know that happened, but someone told me that they heard her say that. Now, like I said, I don't know. But the point I'm making is this is not a job for soft people. Let me say, this is a job for you standing up and confronting the people, right or wrong.
No, absolutely. So let's say that is true. Would that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me.
Every time she spoke, she would never answer a question in public. Like, it wouldn't be where she would come in and say, hey, like, you know, I'm Lisa Talbert, I'm running for mayor, I'm the mayor, blah, blah, blah. And it's in front of 20, 30, 50 people. And then they say, hey, you know, I got a question. And she answers it in front of all the people. She would end her stuff in her speech and then bring them over in a line to ask questions one by one. So obviously she doesn't know how to, or she doesn't want to.
Or is it she's not allowed to?
That's what I was getting. So here's the thing.
Because she doesn't have authority.
Here's the thing now. Here's the thing. If you don't want to talk, that means you're probably hiding something. That means you're probably saying some stuff that you know you're not good on. You're saying some stuff that somebody else said. Okay? Or you are 100% a Joe Biden. You're a puppet. Like, there's no other options.
And I think that's what it is.
Oh, I know that's what it is.
I don't think that the Easley team will let her answer those questions.
I know that's what. If you think Denise Davidson is going to let Lisa Talbert sit and answer questions by herself, you're out of your mind.
Because she hasn't in the past.
She hasn't.
And here's the thing that bothers me.
And that's why we can say that, because she's shown that she's never done it.
She doesn't. She says email me.
Email
message me.
Message
because
me, yes.
then I'll get someone in the
We'll top
department
it up real nice and then
give you a little something to try to make you feel better. But we're not going to talk about it publicly.
You'll never hear me say it out of my mouth.
Right, exactly. Which is scary.
Which is not what she's told us she would do.
It is the exact opposite of what she said she was going to be, and it is the very same thing she accused Butch Walmack of.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, Jordan. They're not concerned about the citizens of the community. If I had ran on transparency and I'm going to be the opposite of Butch, if that lady asked me that question, I'd have said, oh my God, wait a minute. I mean, we wrote a check and we don't know what it's for. Well, here's my city administrator. What did we write that check for?
What's up? Yeah.
How do we not make this?
What's
this for? We want complete disclosure, because remember that when they were running this campaign, they went completely haywire on Bojangles.
Yes.
Buying biscuits for our fire department.
Yes.
Our firefighters when they fought a fire.
Hold on. And one more thing she brought up that's I thought was pretty interesting. You know how they got mad at Butch for driving the car? You remember they got?
I think that came up a time or two.
Yeah, it came up a time or two. I believe.
Every other word.
Yeah, Butch driving the car. We're having to pay for it. Oh my God, a whole dollar out of our blah, blah. Okay, so I expect when Lisa got into office that car would be blown up, right? Or at least at worst blown up. At the very least, parked somewhere where it's not going to be
sold
used.
and put the money back in the treasury.
Put the money back in something, right?
Yes.
Well, it turns out the chief of police is driving it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because we have a lower ranked official now driving a car that they said a mayor did not deserve right to do.
So we're still paying for it. Repeat what you just said.
A lower ranking official in the city driving a car that they crucified the mayor over and saying that it's okay for him to do it, but I'm not going to do it. How is this saving the taxpayers' money? How is this physically responsible as a mayor to give that allegedly $80,000, $90,000 car over to a lower ranking official when the mayor was driving it and you said he did not deserve that kind of a nice car? That is so hypocritical. I mean, how do you come up with that logic and reason? So the American people, the citizens of Easley, are really no better off. They're just as bad off as why didn't you just let them keep the car? Because you just passed it on to another lower ranking official who's going to drive it, get the same benefit from it that the mayor would have had. Oh, but you want him to drive an old ragged Chevrolet. You want to go find him a $3,000 car because you think that's what a mayor deserves to drive. So interesting. Make a big deal about it, pass it on, lower rank it, and you've solved the problem. That's such a Biden administration policy. That's what I would expect from Joe Biden, how he would handle a problem. That's how he handles issues at the wall. That's how he handles issues on immigration. And that's what you're seeing here. It's not really fixing a problem. It's just shifting it so you believe or hope that the public will be blind to this. But here's the real issue. They're not concerned about people asking questions about transparency because they're not going to answer them. The issue is they want to move on and get to where they talked about the moratorium. They want to be able to create a moratorium and they want to change the style of government in the city. And that's really what they're wanting to get to, their personal agenda, because they have more control. Their idea and belief system is somehow if we could change city government to a strong council and a weak mayor, then this team Easley will have more authority and control over the city. Well, look at the dumb decisions they're making now. Look at the crazy. I don't know if you know this or not, but we in the city of Easley that I know of, for the first time in history, have lost our building department. Now, let me tell you something. Every city has a building department. So if you want to put a deck...
Okay, hold on. So when you mean lost, what do you mean by that?
They all quit.
Wait, okay. So the planning department.
The building department, which consisted of a city planner and an inspector. And typically they would have a secretary, at least 3 people on the team. And they do about $450,000 worth of business a year in getting permits and running inspections. And that means if you're going to build Target, which I don't know that deal's going to happen now because I don't think they want that. But you go through the planning process of saying, hey, where's your egress at? Where's your parking lot? It's about how you're going to build this and how it's going to affect the city. Well, they've lost that guy. They do not have a city planner. And now they've also lost the inspector. So right now, if you build a house or you have a commercial building being built, what they do is they went to a subcontractor basis, which means they hire a company, and there's a lot of them out there that do it. I say a lot, there's a few around here. And what they do, they go in and manage the building department for cities. So, but it's very, very expensive. It could cost the city, an average of almost $3,000 a week to do this. And the sad thing about it is you knew as the mayor and the new city council leaders that Tommy Holcomb, who was the city planner, and he's the big building official. He's been around this all his life. He knows every code, every zoning law out there. And he was a great guy. He was an easy guy to work with.
He was a part of the good old boy system.
He was a part. There you go, son.
He was a part of the good old boy system.
That's what they said, and he's got to go. But I know Tommy personally, and I've always got along with him good. But he was a very smart guy and he was a big asset to the community, because whatever you did, he could look at it and tell you really quickly how this needed to go. And he would work with people, and everybody loved Tommy. He was a great guy, but he knew Lisa would fire him the day she came into power.
Preach.
So he resigned.
Preach.
Because they'd said, we don't want to use him anymore. Well, then they've gotten rid of the guy that does the inspections. Now, I heard he resigned. I don't know what the rumor was, but I know there was a lot of conflict between.
Well, while he resigned,
what's your thoughts on it?
he was going to get let go too, or he just didn't want to work for Lisa.
Well, anyway, him leaving created a vacuum.
the only reason.
But when you're running for mayor, that these vacancies are going to take place first day in office. So you got to plan ahead. If you're elected in November, the first business that you need to think about is, how am I going to find another city planner? I mean, I would have made a call to Tommy and said, hey, look, are you staying on or are you leaving?
Plan ahead.
If you're leaving, you go ahead and you start looking for somebody. It's March. It'll be.
Dad, she sells candles. Come on, she's
Well, it's amazing. So how do you not know that you're going to lose? You're going to lose your building official, and you're going to leave the city vulnerable to spend thousands of dollars, and you're more concerned about weakening the mayor's position. So you'll have a strong city government, because you think that's best for the city. When it's going to cost, now I heard this rumor, and I don't know if this is true or not.
I was about to say what you was about to
hundreds
say.
of thousands of dollars for us to do this.
Yeah.
So Team Easley can have more control over the people than what they've got. That's crazy.
And we're also hearing that she could have went and lobbied for some money, and she decided.
Oh yeah, that was it. And how do you become mayor?
So hold on. So what we're hearing is that she was supposed to go lobby for some money
In Columbia.
in Columbia, like all mayors do.
Yes.
And so the situation is that she didn't go.
Well,
They literally said we got no easy representation there.
I was told that a House rep said that everybody's here but Lisa. There's no representation. There's nobody lobbying for money in the city.
Now, you would think, if I got potential lawsuits coming down the pipe with construction, with big box builders, all this stuff, you would think I would try to get some money. You would think she would try to get some money if there's even a potential of a lawsuit coming down the pipe.
Well, here's what I've heard too. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I'd like our listeners to help us find this out. This is a rumor right now that the city of Easley is paying for some of Denise's legal fees, and I don't know if it is where she tried to foil and the city from when Butch was mayor, and she got a lawyer and sued the city. And there's some bills out there that the city, I understand, is going to pick up on and pay. Now, you're a listener. If you're in Pickens County, do you think that if someone sues the city, that the city should pay part of their legal bills? I mean, how does that work? I mean, if Butch were to do that, I mean, they would kill him.
Oh, my God.
So you're suing the city, and now you want the city to pay part of your legal. I heard it was half. Now, I don't know that.
Yeah.
This is allegedly.
Yeah.
This is not. But if someone knows that, I wish they would give us a call and tell us, because
Absolutely.
Are we paying? So if I sue the city's going to come in and help pay my legal fees to sue the city?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another Biden administration thing going on there.
Well, either way, we'll find out whether we got to file a FOIA or whatever.
One more thing I want to say now. Also, I hear that you're allowed to peddle in the city.
Yeah.
People are saying that they're seeing people sell flowers and things. Yeah. I just want to address that for our viewers, because the reason that most mayors of the past would not let you do that is because if you're standing side the road selling flowers, donuts, or whatever you're giving, people have to stop to purchase that. And what you do, you create a rear end collision situation there. So it's very unsafe for people driving up and down a road to see someone stop, pull over side the road, leave half their car hanging out the road, and try to buy a flower from you. So it has been illegal to do that. They had an ordinance that said you cannot do that. But what's interesting is It's also an infringement upon people that are selling these products in the city that had to purchase a license, that are having to pay taxes, that are having to rent a building.
I don't know,
And so-
like businesses.
yeah. I mean,
Like
is
flower
that,
shops.
If I were a business and I saw
Donut shops.
saw people peddling where they're not paying taxes, they're not paying state, federal, or local taxes on it, and they don't have a city license.
They have no permission
and
to
they're
be out
taking
there, yeah.
business from me.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, Mayor, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
That is not that, and you're causing a situation where accidents can occur.
Absolutely.
So, are you just not on your game, or are you just allowing that? So that's it. I'd like the public to chime in on
Absolutely.
that.
Let us know
what you think about that. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. Hey, we can back up and punt, admit we make mistakes, but these are the things floating around the city. And we just don't want to see the city
reason
come
we
apart.
gotta look. The reason we gotta bring it up like this is because nobody from the Pickens County Republican Party, nobody from Team Easley, nobody from anywhere is giving us these answers. That's why we gotta
deny it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why we gotta come on here and talk to our public audience and say, hey, is this what y'all hearing? What else are y'all hearing? Let us know, because the very person that says she's going to be transparent, and the guy that supported her, and the guy that pushed her, ran on the fact of how transparent she's going to be. I don't even know how to get in touch with her. She's got me blocked on social media. I don't even know how to get in touch with her. So this is what we're like. Come on now. And the person I'm talking about backing her up is Bob Federley. And the reason I'm bringing him up is because he pushed her. He got up there and endorsed her and said, this is the woman for the job. And then he comes on and talks about how, it's a post. I'm going to just read it because this is just the best way to do it. There's a post. He makes a comment. It's about books and stuff. He makes a comment. And the woman responds to him and pretty much says, it's ironic that you're calling for the removal of council members. This council is in the process of improving the UDSO. This council in 13 plus months have reached out to the public, held endless meetings to gather information, listed to countless emails and public comments. And she goes on and on about what's being done with the actual people in office right now. Well, Bob replies and says, this is too little too late. Look at how they appointed people with agendas to the Planning Commission. And it didn't push for a revision years ago. A recent mailer supporting Wilson, Bowers, and Koshner is taking a bow for money to fix 183. That road has been riddled with potholes for over 10 years. Do we need to wait another decade for 135 to get fixed? When will that be? So I just send him a comment because I'm like, okay, he's wanting to talk to this person because he actually comes in and tells her that he would like to debate her. He actually comes in and says, oh, did he? Tell me he didn't delete that. Tell me he didn't delete that. Oh, Bob. Oh, Bob. Bob.
That's interesting because
So here it is right here. So hold on. Here we go. So I comment to him. I say, who did they appoint to the Planning Commission with an agenda? Because this is the second time he's called a Planning Commission. And what agenda would that be exactly? Just so we know. He responds, Kelsey Crooks isn't shy about her agenda. A realtor on a commission who does not want incumbents challenged. But I love a healthy debate armed with facts. So here's my offer to Catherine Anderson. That's the woman that was commenting. Just show me you're a registered voter in Pickens County, and I'll carve out some time at our next countywide Pickens County Republican Party meeting to make your case that the existing council members taking a bow over their accomplishments deserve another term. So I comment to Bob again and say, you should come on New American Movement and let's talk about all of this. Overdevelopment, the Planning Commission, the current incumbents, agendas, all of it. I'm sure the people would love to hear from the chair of the Pickens County Republican Party. Well, never responded to me, but he responded to Catherine Anderson and says precisely why I offered to let you address the Pickens County Republican Party with your point of view, trying to make her sound like she wasn't a registered voter. Turns out she is a registered voter. I doubt he gives her any time to speak about the incumbents that are in there right now, so I doubt he's going to do that. I think he's full of crap on that. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I reached out to Bob Federley. And I asked him to come on New American Movement to sit here and talk about all of these things, to talk about the Planning Commission, to talk about all this stuff. So this is what I got back. Jordan, well, I appreciate the offer to address your podcast audience. I'm going to decline for the following reason. We have some things in common, such as you too are a member of the No Porn in Pickens Library movement. I don't even know why he brought that up, because I joined that just to see what they were talking about. And everybody agrees kids shouldn't read porn, but grown adults have every right to go into a library and get a book. I mean, it's just a fact. I mean, that's just what it is. But we all agree kids shouldn't read porn. Then he goes, I appreciate that. But during the Easley mayoral debate, your father referenced the New American Movement and stated that a problem we face in this area was the many houses being sold to the people from up north. Sold to people from up north. This was obviously offensive to many of our members who, like me, have moved here from many directions. I do not fault anyone for moving here from anywhere, except you. That's it. They crucified you. They say, oh, he don't live in Easley. He don't live in Easley. He don't live in Easley. Okay, I'll keep going. I fault the county government. We have had for being slow to respond to problems that are easily identified by simply looking at the number of building permits issued. So what I got from this is that he's a coward. Because here's why, and I'll shoot it to you. Because when you come in and tell me the reason you're not going to come on and this is the reason I want him to come on the show, is because for a while now, he has been talking about the Planning Commission. He's been talking about how they got agendas. He's been talking about, go ahead, go. You go, take off.
Because I spent 4 years on that commission. There is absolutely no agenda. It is stupid to say that. When I started on the Planning Commission 4 years ago, I noticed a massive amount of people coming into those meetings, waving their fists, saying, stop the development. Our UDSO standards, and for those of you who don't know what UDSO is, it is a standard that a developer uses to determine how many homes he can build on a piece of property. That's all it is. And those standards are very rigid. But at the time, ours were very low. And the reason for that is because Pickens County was only getting about one subdivision a year. And when I joined it, when I was asked to serve on that committee, they were doing an average of 2 to 3 a month. And so people were coming saying, hey, we live on a rural road. We don't want a home builder putting 70 homes on this rural road. And so I even went to county councilmen and said, hey, are you aware that we're getting all this feedback from the community? And a lot of them begin to see the problem. But remember, we have not had this kind of growth ever in Pickens County until the last, I'd say, 4 years. And it has exploded. And so the issue is now the county council has to deal with this issue. But it's a very complex issue because a UDSO standard is a group of ordinances that are very, very complicated. And they all have unintended consequences. They all have issues that affect you positively and negatively. There's pros and cons to all UDSO standards. They help some people and they hurt others. And so it's not a black and white, slap it together, here's our ordinance. It takes time to figure this stuff out. And so we started developing these standards several years ago. And we're just now at a place to where they can push these ordinances into action. There was a moratorium in the county. They said stop all building, but that was for I think 49 and over. Anything under that you could still build. And the reason for that, Jordan, is because it takes time to process that. There is no agenda. And I want to address that issue about people moving from the north. Yeah, there are a lot of people moving from the north here to the south. What do you think about that?
Is that not a fact?
It's a fact.
Okay, hold on. Bob Federley. Oh, Bobby Bob. Bobby Bob. Oh, Idaho Bob. Let me talk to you for a second. The fact that you say that you were offended and you can't come on this show and talk with your chest out like you've been doing on social media tells me, after you say you don't want to get on Facebook and debate on Facebook and talk on Facebook, but by God, you love debating and talking on Facebook, but you won't come on a show and debate and talk. So you want to sit there and debate a voter. You want to debate a voter. And then when she says, I am a registered voter here in Pickens County, you don't even come back to her. You don't respond back to her. And you actually said that the reason I'm asking you that is because my party will kill me if I let someone that's not a registered voter speak.
Well, I'm a registered voter, and I'm a member.
Here we go.
They won't let me speak.
Here we go.
They barred me.
They
refused to let me speak to that party. I cannot address that party.
Here we go.
And I can bring facts to the table, and I can tell you, there are a lot of Northerners moving down here. And you know what that's going to do to people who've lived here all their lives? Generation after generation, it means their kids are not going to have a place to live in this county because housing prices are going to go so exuberant that an average 18-year-old kid getting out of high school, trying to buy a home, it's not going to find a wage that's going to pay for that house. And that is a result from a massive migration of people from the north to the south, and that is a problem. I can't tell you we can fix it, but it's a problem.
So how do you feel about the chair of our Republican Party being too weak to come on a show?
Hypocrite. That's a hypocrite.
To come on a show and back up what he actually says. Here's why they won't come on the show.
And let me say this about, I got a lot of people north that are subcontractors for me too. So I had a secretary for years. I've got a lot of people. My mama's from the north.
Yes.
I'm just stating a fact.
Absolutely.
How it's going to change our southern culture.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you listen to the people that are trying to run the show in Pickens County, Jordan, almost every single one of them are from up north.
Yes.
It is not our local people. And I'm just saying, for the people of our community, this is our home. This is where we lived all our lives. And why should an outsider come in and tell us how we need to live our lives?
How wrong we're living our lives. That's how wrong we're doing it. And
go down the list and think of these people. They're not even from Pickens County.
But the problem is I don't care if you're from Pickens County or not. The problem is you're over here telling us that we're not from somewhere and that we can't run somewhere because we're not from there. But by God, you can come up in here and talk about how you're offended. Dude, let me tell you something. We are conservatives. Our whole slogan is facts over feelings. If we made you cry and we made you feel offended because we said people from up north are moving to the south, if that offended you, brother, you are weak. You are a weak, cowardly man. That may be one of the weakest things I've ever. That's a Joe Biden statement. That is a Kamala Harris statement.
That's what you say when you can't defend your position.
Oh, that's all I want this man to come on the show and defend why Lisa's so good. Defend why.
See if he supports her in another year. Watch them turn on her in another year. Give it a year.
And why are you out here campaigning against other Republican candidates? Not just throwing support behind one, but actively do you know how the Planning Commission works? Bob? Idaho Bob? I'm going to offend you now. Now I'm going to offend you. Do you understand how this works? Are you that dumb, or are you pushing your agenda?
That's the whole issue.
That
is their agenda.
Come on now.
They want to replace all of the leadership in Pickens County with people from Walmart.
Yes.
And I know people that work there may not like this, Jordan, but it's true. But look at the people they put up.
Yes.
A lot of these people
I was told by a county councilman. County councilman. Hey, what do you think of Brandon Thomas? He's gonna lose, and this is the guy driving him around.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you can't sit here and tell me that the guy that's the elected official driving the guy that's the candidate, and the elected official is telling everybody this guy isn't going to win, but you as the party are going to sit back and push him?
It's not. It's because they can control him. They're looking for a dog on a leash. That's all they're looking for. If you are dumb, if you have no ability, if you don't know anything about politics, they will love you to death because they're going to be the kind of guy to tell you when to go to the bathroom, what kind of sandwich to make, and when to go to bed at night.
Isn't that the very same thing of a good old boy system?
It is. It is a good old boy system that is all about control. And a lot of it is they just want to wreck Pickens County.
That's it.
That's what this is. They want, let me tell you something.
They want
I
to
know
burn
a
it
lot
down
of
and
these
build it
county,
up like them.
I know a lot of these
Yeah.
county council leaders, and a lot of them are very, very, and I want to say this again, very, very smart people.
Yeah.
They're extremely capable people. They know and understand the details of this county, what we're facing, and to try to replace them with somebody who can barely read and write. How offensive is that?
So let me tell you something. One thing that you'll learn, all you non-politicians out there, like Lisa Talbert, y'all love that because Donald Trump used that. And y'all
I'm
try
not
to
a
use
politician.
that. I'm not
Yeah.
a politician.
But they're sure playing it on the.
Oh God,
look
they play it like crazy. But the thing is though, it's once y'all get in there and you realize that you can't be an activist. Once you get in there and you realize you can't say no on the planning commission, once you realize that you get in there and they do meet the standards and you say no, and then all of a sudden a lawsuit comes down the fight, like you start realizing real quick, you kind of have to play 80-20. You start realizing real quick, I have to I have to give and take. I got to give and I can't just take. Listen, so we're about book banning. This is our next topic, real fast. So we're going about book banning. I was talking to a candidate that's running on book banning. He couldn't even tell me the name of the books. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying. You're
That's what I'm
running on
talking
book
about.
banning and you don't even know the names of the
And
book.
he told me I'm not even for book banning. Now make that make sense.
Because you're a puppet. You have no voice. People tell you what to say.
And you know what else he's running on? Strengthening the UDSO. Now you ran on that and they completely ignored you. So far, sitting city councilman Donna Rainey actually said during your debate, and I quote, "Oh no, I figured a candidate would know that in the city we don't have a UDSO, that in the city we don't have a UD. I figured a candidate running would know that that's in the county. In the city we don't have one of those. No, you got zoning. It's the same thing. Everybody knows that. The fact that you didn't, and now you're sitting on the city council, tells me everything I need to know."
And they want to be a strong mayor, or they want to be a strong council versus a strong mayer. And these people don't even know the questions.
Don't even know the
along
questions.
answers.
Absolutely.
And that's what's scary.
They
it's
want
like
that.
saying I'm running on book banning, but you don't know what books. You don't even have a list of the books.
No.
Because someone told you to say that.
Absolutely.
You're running on a county council position with a $65 million budget
And-
at one of the most complex times in our county. And you make a statement, I'm running on book banning, but I don't even know.
And here's the
what
thing.
book- that-
And here's the thing about this book banning thing. Let me just touch on this real fast. This is a county library. And I understand that I'm all for kids not reading stuff that they shouldn't be reading. I am all for that. If it's in the schools, get it out. If it's a kid can go in there, get it out. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But when it comes to county libraries, adults go in there. Like actual adults that want to ban books at a county library is a slippery slope. Because it's not just it
is the beginning of censorship.
Yes, because
which you
here's
can
why.
throw the Bible in there.
That's what. So this is the thing. What you find offensive and erotic and whatever, I may not find that to be erotic or offensive, right? Like for instance, some people can go to a rated R movie and sit through it and not faze them at all. They can hear the F word, they can see a head get blown off, not faze them one bit. And then you put somebody else in there, they got to get up after 5 minutes and walk out. It's a different level of stuff, right? So this is my thing. They're trying to ban all of these books in the library.
Now, I love me some John Wick.
John Wick's amazing. Boy, like, hey,
careful.
Hey, John Wick's a man. Hey,
Yeah,
you kill my dog, I'm going John Wick too.
Yes, sir,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just want to straighten that. Go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting
Hey,
you.
I got some hotels I can enter too. So hey, let's go. But anyway, so the whole book banning thing though is just absolutely a slippery slope, and so this is my proposal, because these books aren't going to get banned. Let me just
Right.
go ahead and put this out there for everybody. These books aren't going. You know how I know that? Because in Beaufort County they tried to do that. 97 books they tried to ban. You know how many were banned?
80, 60, 30, 10, 5, 2, 1. 1, that's exactly right.
96 were put back on the shelves.
Yeah, exactly.
So and because like people like Janelle Raines get involved with this, and they start pushing radical stuff, like just because they're just like, for instance, there are love stories out there, books, romantic novels. This is gonna blow your mind, Dad, where they have sex in them. It's crazy, ain't it? It's unbelievable. By the way, I wonder how many movies Janelle Raines saw with people having sex. I wonder how many movies she saw, TV shows.
Well, you about can't watch TV without it being in there.
I know, right?
You can't even read the Old Testament without
Right.
reading it in there. It's in the Old
I
Testament.
was about to say, so in the Old Testament, they talk about this stuff all the time. They actually talk about how if you commit adultery and stuff, and you get pregnant, that this was what abortionists ran on. They were like, well, the Bible says you could do it. No, this is Old Testament. Old Testament was if you committed infidelity and stuff, they broke the curse they were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, you created a curse. Now this baby's going to go and cheat, and this baby's going to go and cheat. Yeah. So what they would do is they would kill the baby. That's the Old Testament. That is old. The New Testament is what we live by.
Right.
Okay. So the point I'm making is the as soon as you go down this road, the Bible's the next thing out. You know what else is going to come out? Any book that has to do with a black dude and a white dude getting into it. Any book that's got to do with cussing. Any book that's got to do with anything at all that's remotely bad to one person.
Because it becomes up to a person to interpret it.
Absolutely. So here's my solution, and you let me know if I'm wrong on this. I believe we need to put these books in their correct areas. Right?
In a censored area.
In a censored area. Now, here's the thing. They're going to say, well, the problem is the age limits for a young adult is 12 to 18. So they're putting some of these books that are young adult books for a 12-year-old to read. Now, let me just go ahead and put this out there. You're not going to change that. The only way you change that is by going and saying, hey, a young adult is not 12. A young adult is 15 to 18. Now, our definition of a young adult is like 18, 20, 19, 21. You know, we think young adult, we think adult, right? The nation, the state, the government does not look at it that way. A young adult is a teenager and a kid, a child, adolescent, stuff like that. It keeps going down. Then you could become an adult. To get them to change this from 12 years old to you may get them to get to 15. Maybe. And that's if you fight hard. You got to go in there and swing some fists and say, hey, 12 is too young. I'm for that. I'm for that. If you can get that 12, move up to age 15, I'm for that. Cool. Do that. But the problem is, if you just take out Water for Elephants, because you want to. If you take out certain books just because you want to, or just because they got something in it that you say a kid shouldn't read, you're right. A kid shouldn't read it probably, but it doesn't mean a kid is. Like, where are the facts that kids are checking these books out? And are we? Oh, and one more thing, shoot back to you. Are we not the party of let the parents parent their kids? This is a county library, not a school library. When they were in the schools, we said, hold up now, no, government. No, school board. We let the parents parent. We don't let y'all parent. So now, let me ask you this, all you people out there that want to ban all these books. If an adult parent goes in with his 12-year-old kid, lets him check out a book with the adult's approval, what are you going to do? We have right. They have rights too, just like we have rights. Just because you don't agree, we say this all the time about the Second Amendment, about free speech and everything. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean that you can go and just crucify everybody for it. Even though you don't agree with it, don't mean you get to go and just say all of it's got to go. That's not how that works. The way this should work is you go in, you get the list of books that are legitimately harmful and or adult oriented. You put them in one section and say these are for adults and adults only. Everything else, can be checked out. If it's a book that is questionable for a kid, you could even say, hey, this book may be too mature for a kid. Maybe you should have your mom come in here and look at it. This is not about kids reading this stuff. I want to make that clear because I have yet to hear of a kid reading this stuff. Now, if they are, let me know. But everybody I've asked that's running on this have told me, I don't know, we got to find out if a kid's even check these books out. So why are we kicking the books out if we don't even know if kids are checking them out? They could just be all adults. So look, when you get Janelle Raines involved, when you get all of these radical people involved, this is what you get. This is what you get. She can't even put her own name out there without getting banned because she's been banned off of everything. And it's not because she's telling the truth. It's because she spread so much lies, people are just tired of it. And this may be, I'm not saying this may be one of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're going to close. Let me say this closing. I spoke with several county council of people, and they all told me unequivocally that they could not stop the banning of books. It's not legally in their jurisdiction or a framework of government to do that. Secondly,
and Janelle's also got 2 people on the library board up there for the county library. She's got 2 of her own people up there. Why ain't they said nothing? Go ahead.
This has to be decided by the library board. And secondly, their position on it is this stuff needs to be put in a secured area,
yes,
controlled by the parent and the library board. So that's their position on. So they're not going to ban any books. Right. See, the county council's not going to do that.
I just got one question for Janelle. Janelle, do you think parents now can't make decisions? Is that what we're saying now? Guys running on banning these books, are y'all saying now that parents can't make decisions for their kids? Let me know.
Well, that's our show, folks. New America Movement. We appreciate you tuning in. God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please comment, like, share, and follow New America Movement. Check us out on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Big Patriot Radio. That's Big Patriot Radio on Mondays at 7 p.m. And guess what? If you miss it, it's okay. There's an encore at 9. So if you missed the 7 p.m. one, come back at 9 o'clock. Check it out at 9. If you want to watch both of them, hey, love you for it. Tune in on Mondays, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Thank you guys for watching Big Patriot Radio. And also, God bless America and God bless Easley and Pickens County, because by the leadership we got, we going to need him.
Thank you so much. God bless you. We'll see you next week.